It's never too early to gear up for the NFL draft, especially the 2020 draft. We've got Todd McShay giving us our listing of the top prospects for next year's draft. So we'll take a look at it. Not surprisingly, Tua Tagovailoa at number 1 on the list, Jerry Jeudy at number 2. Ohio State also has 2 of the top 5 spots there as well. So I figure, again, we'll start with our resident quarterback. Greg, any issues with Tua being at the top of the list?
That's where he belongs. I mean, he is the best draft-eligible player. I say that because Trevor Lawrence is not draft-eligible. He is the best draft-eligible player at the most important position. And if you look at Tua last year, remember, he's only a sophomore. He's only started 15 games. But his ability to throw receivers open, his ability to layer the football, getting it over defenders and under defenders all at the same time, and his accuracy from within the pocket while still being able to create on his own with his athleticism. Let's not forget, guys, this is a guy that played 9 games of the season on one leg. He was not at 100% at any point in the second half of the season last year. So let's see what he does this year if he is 100% healthy. But yes, I do believe Tua is the top prospect heading into the draft next year.
The number 1 prospect in college football is Grant Delpit, strong safety from LSU, because of how multiple he is in any defensive scheme. Guy had 5 sacks, 5 picks, and almost 80 tackles last year on defense, and LSU uses him in a number of ways. He even plays the nickel at times and covers slot receivers. So when you think about prospects, and I'm taking position out of it, we all know quarterback position is the most important. When you start talking about prospects for the next level, there is no team in the NFL that Grant Delpit doesn't fit. And that's what a lot of people will look at. Now, he may not be the first player off the board, but he'll hear his name called in the top 5 of the draft next year.
He's a perennial Pro Bowler right now. Like right now, he's a perennial Pro Bowler, and he still has another year of college left. However, top of the board, it's just hard to justify a safety over a quarterback. So just on the importance of the position, you'd be hard-pressed to find someone other than Tua to put there at the top.
But, Greg, is there no concern in your mind of the fact you just said it? He played several games injured last year. Is there no concern about injury with Tua for you?
No, there is, naturally. I mean, he did get banged up over the course of last season, but that was oftentimes because he was trying to do too much. And that's all part of the maturity process. Okay, when does the clock go off in my head to where I have to cut it loose? Can't take so many sacks, can't run around and throw it up for grabs in the back right corner of the end zone against Louisville. But that's all part of the progression. Based on a 15-game sample size in which he started last year, he was tremendous, more often than not. So there's room to grow, yeah. But as far as just natural skill set, he's pretty special.
So with that being said, you can't look at any list without deciding somebody's rated wrong. So, Marcus, we'll start with you. Who's the most underrated on this list?
I'm going with T. Higgins, wide receiver, Clemson. Look, a 6'4" body, almost 210 pounds. He goes up in the red area and catches the ball like the pros, had 12 touchdowns last year. Obviously, you know him from what Trevor Lawrence was able to do throughout that playoff situation. But when you look at T. Higgins and you look at what's working on the next level right now, it's big physical receivers that are able to win one-on-ones. And he's one of those guys in that mode that can continue to do that.
Yeah, there's a lot of receivers in this list right now. So you need one, go get one. Higgins is certainly one of them. I'm going to go DeAndre Swift, running back at Georgia. He's in at number 26 right now, latter part of the first round. But how often can you find a 3-down running back that can contribute in the passing game as well as beat you both between the tackles and on the perimeter? I've seen Georgia running backs make the leap before and become tremendous in the NFL. Todd Gurley might be the best back in the entire league. So I look at what DeAndre Swift has shown. He reminds me a lot of Le'Veon Bell. If there's one thing that Le'Veon Bell proved over the course of his tenure at the Pittsburgh Steelers and now with the New York Jets, is that he is a versatile weapon in the passing game. And in today's NFL, when the running back gets involved in the passing game, it's a matchup nightmare for defenses.
All right,
there's
look,
positivity. Oh, go ahead, Marcus.
Fitz, before anybody say don't fly off the handle, he reminds me of Saquon Barkley,
Yeah.
And if people have watched him closely, they'll understand why. Because guys that can stick their foot in the ground and change direction and still stay 100 miles an hour, those are different cats. DeAndre Swift can do that.
I love all of this positivity. So now let's go to the other side and kill dreams. Who's the most overrated? Greg, we'll start with you.
I got to go with Jeffrey Okudah at Ohio State. It's not that he's a lockdown corner. He is. He can play on both sides of the football. But I looked at Ohio State's defense last year, and I compare him to some of the players that have gone at that level before. Denzel Ware comes to mind. And I have not seen that level of consistency from Jeffrey Okudah. Yeah, he's got great top-end speed. He's got great measurables. But I want to see him take over the game on more than one occasion this upcoming season for me to garner potentially a top 5 pick on a corner out of Ohio State.
Yeah, I like Henderson from Florida a little bit better than Okudah. But my guy is Tua Tagovailoa. And it's because, let's contextualize this before everyone loses their mind. I want to see Tua deliver healthy against the defenses that he played down the stretch and struggled with. He had 6 picks against all of the top-tier defenses that he played against. And some of that was with his eyes. Some of that was trying to do too much, like he's mentioned himself, and coming back into a season where taking what the defense is going to give him or put him in a better situation. But there are only 4 to 5 games possibly on a schedule in college where you really prove that you're elite. And I want to see Tua have a better 4-game stretch than he had against top-tier defenses last year.
My only rebuttal to that is people seem to forget about the Auburn game where he accounted for 5 touchdowns, put up a ton of yardage, and Auburn was touted at the end of the season as one of the best defenses in college football. So, yeah, he didn't have his best stuff against Clemson, didn't have his best stuff against Georgia, neither did it against Mississippi State or LSU. But Auburn was one of those teams that was an elite defense according to all the experts, and he torched them. So I think we're a little short-sighted with our memory of what Tua accomplished last season. Understandably so, the national championship was disappointing. But I would be surprised if NFL scouts were to take those games into account and think, this guy clearly can't play at a top-tier level. He's legit, and I think just about everybody that's evaluated him believes that as well.
He's overrated for right now, G. And also remember, Tennessee beat Auburn last year.
We're so glad you're watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, make sure you subscribe to ESPN Plus. We'll see you there.